On this episode of Cape Media News, Sturgis students hold a Black Lives Matter event in Hyannis. Care for the Cape and Islands encourage businesses to compost at their Care About a Clean Cape Summit, and we speak with small business owner Sara Grambach about the struggles of reopening her restaurant under Governor Baker's phased reopening plan. These stories and more, this is Cape Media News. This is Cape Media News, your local authentic newscast for Cape Cod. I'm Gabrielle Rawson. Thank you for joining us. Well, it's been more than 3 months since Governor Baker announced statewide shutdowns in response to coronavirus. On May 18th, the Baker-Polito administration announced the state would adopt a 4-phased approach to reopening the Massachusetts economy. In Phase 1, industries such as manufacturing and construction were allowed to resume business. Houses of worship and community health centers were also able to reopen as long as they adhered to mandatory safety standards as outlined by the state. On June 8th, Phase 2 of Baker's reopening plan began in 2 parts. Phase 2, Part 1, allowed restaurants to offer outside dining with restrictions. Phase 2, Part 2, will allow restaurants to offer indoor dining and allow other industries such as nail salons and tattoo parlors to reopen as well. The governor is expected to announce when the second part of Phase 2 will begin any time, but he says the speed of reopening will ultimately depend on public health data. You can learn more about Governor Baker's 4-phased approach to reopening at mass.gov. Is the Cape's economy in crisis? A small business survey conducted by the Cape Cod Commission and Cape Cod Chamber of Commerce suggests COVID-19 has had a severe impact on our business community. More than 350 businesses from all 15 Cape towns responded to the survey, representing industries from accommodations and healthcare to retail, restaurants, real estate, and recreation. Preliminary results from the survey show that revenue loss is significant, with little hope of recouping those losses over the summer. To read the complete preliminary report, visit capecodcommission.org. In South Yarmouth, a popular restaurant has decided not to reopen under Governor Baker's one-size-fits-all reopening plan. Yalls Wicked Kitchen, a popular Southern comfort food eatery, told us that due to location restraints and concerns for public health safety, they're going to stick to curbside service for the remainder of the pandemic or until state regulations change. Cape Media News reports.
The plan to reopen Massachusetts' economy is well underway. On Monday, June 8th, several industries, including retail outlets, childcare facilities, hotels, and restaurants, were allowed to reopen under a strict set of guidelines from the state. But not every business that could open has. On June 11th, local eatery Yalls Wicked Kitchen, a Southern-style barbecue restaurant in South Yarmouth, announced outdoor dining, as outlined in Governor Baker's reopening plan, just wasn't an option.
So we are a 40-person restaurant. Much of our seating is actually bar area seating, which is not allowed as part of Phase 2. As you may know, bars in restaurants are not until Phase 4. So that would preclude our bar area from even being able to be in use. And we have roughly 15 to 18 bar seats. And then when we look at our layout and the other seating in our space, we would roughly be able to sit 8 to 10 people at a time in our restaurant. From a business perspective, we wouldn't even be able to make payroll on that. It doesn't make sense.
By offering curbside takeout, daily dinners, and special brunch options, Yalls Wicked Kitchen has been able to stay in business for the last 3 months. But limited indoor dining space, as well as being located in a busy strip mall, has made outdoor dining an impossibility.
Where we are located, we're located in a strip mall. We're next to the Registry of Motor Vehicles and Ocean State Job Lot. So our outdoor space is a public sidewalk or a large parking lot where there are many businesses that are considered essential around us that are actively in use. So the outdoor seating wasn't even an option for us.
Sara Grambach, who owns Yalls Wicked Kitchen with her husband, also works for Duffy Health Center as Director of Development and Community Relations. Her perspective as a student of public health has had a huge impact on her decision not to offer outdoor dining.
Given the fact that we are in an older community, particularly in South Yarmouth, but just demographically on the Cape in general, I'm hyper aware of what this virus means to our sensitive populations. And so that's really been the foundation of our decision to not open. From an economic perspective and a public health perspective, until it's safe for people to sit side by side in my restaurant, or at least sit side by side and in a way that makes sense for us to be able to, at the very least, make at a break-even point from a financial perspective, it doesn't make sense. And that may not be anytime soon, unfortunately.
For Sara and her husband, it remains to be seen if their small business will survive the impacts of COVID-19. Like many other Cape businesses, Yalls Wicked Kitchen depends on tourism to stay afloat.
July and August are where businesses like ours make our money. The plan is to do a Friday, Saturday night curbside dinner, and then a Saturday and a Sunday morning curbside brunch to meet the needs and sort of what we know from our summer seasons, what people are looking for. And we're gonna try it and hope time will really just tell if it's going to be viable. My hope is that it is. I definitely know the other numbers aren't going to work.
To learn more about Yalls Wicked Kitchen or to try their curbside Southern barbecue, visit yallswickedkitchen.com or find them on Facebook. In South Yarmouth, for Cape Media News, I'm Gabrielle Rawson.
Small businesses on Cape Cod need your support now more than ever. To learn more about Yalls Wicked Kitchen, visit them online at yallswickedkitchen.org or find them on Facebook. Up next, Sturgis students hold a peaceful protest in Hyannis.
The world is talking about coronavirus, but it's hard to know what to listen to. We have answers to your questions like, who's most at risk for coronavirus? People over 65. People with underlying medical conditions like heart disease, chronic lung disease, asthma, diabetes. People undergoing cancer treatment, and people with weakened immune systems. What should you do if you or a loved one is at higher risk? Avoid close contact with people. Avoid crowds. Stay home if you can. Wash your hands frequently. Learn more ways to protect yourself and others at coronavirus.gov. Together, we can help stop the spread.
For more than 2 weeks, America has been protesting systemic racism and what has become one of the largest civil rights movements in our nation's history. In Hyannis, local high school students organized a Black Lives Matter demonstration to honor George Floyd, who was tragically killed by Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin. The peaceful protest was held to address police brutality and to raise awareness about systemic racism in the United States and on Cape Cod. Cape Media News reports.
For nearly 2 weeks, America has been on edge. In nearly every city and state across the nation, and even in countries around the world, protesters have gathered to demand justice for the murder of 46-year-old George Floyd, who died in Minneapolis, Minnesota, when Officer Derek Chauvin knelt on his neck for nearly 9 minutes. Since Floyd's murder, thousands of rallies have been held, and Cape Cod has been no exception in showing its support. On Friday, June 5th, the Sturgis Politics Club, in association with the Sturgis Human Rights and Key Club, held a Black Lives Matter demonstration to demand justice for George Floyd's murder and to address the need for social justice reform.
So for me personally, I think it's always really important that people make their voices heard and make sure that they can say what they want without having the risk of being arrested, getting shot down, or getting even just choked out and killed like George Floyd was.
George Floyd isn't the only man who's died due to police brutality. There's a lot more work that needs to be done. There's a lot more justice that needs to be served.
To hold the man under your knee, you have to be sick in your head. That is incredible to me. Someone, a human being, under your knee. What kind of creature is that? Is the culture has created that creature? Our culture. We have to see in what part are we guilty? What is our part? When we treat someone different because of their accent, because of their color, that is inhumane. We cannot do that. We have to change, all of us, and we have to speak up.
No one is free until everyone is free, and that's the truth. There is no reason for the racism that we have in America, and it's time to end. And now with the whole world sort of reevaluating it themselves, it's time.
Here, I can't sit home. I've got to come out. I've got to be part of this. You have to be the change you wish to see.
Several Barnstable police officers were on hand to make sure the demonstration remained peaceful. They even took a knee in support of the student-led demonstration.
I think it's great. Everyone came out and they're peacefully protesting and voicing their opinions and their concerns in the community. So glad everyone came out today.
But many student protesters told us the demonstration is just the beginning for what they hope will be a movement to elect officials who represent the needs of their communities.
The restructuring of police departments, the arrest of Breonna Taylor's murderers, the arrest of all of those murderers who are walking free right now. That's what I want. Thank you.
Support candidates that believe in the power of the people.
The student-led Black Lives Matter demonstration was held in Hyannis on Friday, June 5th. In Hyannis for Cape Media News, I'm Gabrielle Rawson.
In response to local and state demand that police departments have more transparency and accountability, Governor Baker filed new legislation on Wednesday that would require police officers to become certified every 3 years. The bill includes a database for certified officers, more de-escalation training, and protocols for decertifying officers who are found guilty of misconduct. To learn more about Governor Baker's House Bill 4794, an act to improve police officer standards and accountability and to improve training, visit malegislature.org. If you're a fan of protecting the environment, you've probably noticed that plastic bags and single-use plastics have made a comeback. From grocery stores to pharmacies and restaurants, almost all of them have been forced to return to plastic in the name of public health. So what can you do if you're a business owner who wants to contribute to a greener Cape? According to Care for the Cape and Islands, you still have options. Earlier this month, I moderated Care for the Cape and Islands' second virtual summit, Can My Business Compost?, to learn about single-use biodegradable products, composting, and how businesses can adapt during COVID-19. Cape Media News reports.
It's undeniable that COVID-19 has had a negative impact on waste reduction. As restaurants adapt to changing regulations, many have had to rethink how they operate, from curbside service to how their food is delivered. The increase of takeout packaging waste due to statewide restrictions have some businesses looking for ways to stay proactive in their efforts to reduce plastic. Enter Care for the Cape and Islands, a nonprofit whose goal is to reduce plastic and preserve the environment. They held their second virtual meeting, Can My Business Compost?, to let businesses know they still have options.
We see an abundance of takeout containers due to the tourism community and our current health situation. And there are many choices regarding packaging for meals. Of course, ideally, we would like to see the use of reusable plates and silverware instead of disposable. But in the meantime, we're bringing these 4 speakers to who are working on our collaborative to discuss options and the impact upon our environment.
A group of panelists led the discussion, explaining the importance of composting to reduce waste.
Our global population is 7.8 billion people. It's a lot of people to feed, but we grow enough food to feed 10 billion people. So a lot of that excess food becomes waste, as it turns out. In the US, we generate 60 million tons of food waste, and 40 million of those tons are transferred to the landfill. That's the equivalent of 80 billion pounds of food waste.
For business owners who decide to compost, there are a variety of ways to do it.
We start with every new client with a kitchen tour to help the owners plan for and set up generally multiple collection points in a kitchen, depending on the size of the kitchen and the variety of the menu choices. Clear signage will help compost programs run smoothly.
Tracy Barry Hunt, who owns Winslow's Restaurant with her husband in Wellfleet, has been composting on site for 10 years.
You don't have to buy a $20,000 digestive belly unit. You don't have the space. Whatever percentage you can do. If you're a small restaurant, a cafe, if you're a larger restaurant, start with percentages. If every restaurant, I tell the staff, we may not hit 100%, particularly on weeks when we're moving really fast in August, but don't give up. I'd rather hit 85% and continue to push that forward than to not attempt at all.
Speakers also highlighted the environmentally friendly products that owners could use instead of plastic.
Stephanie and I have been working on a purchasing guide, and I want to share with you some of the things that we found out. As most of us know, reusables are always the most sustainable option. They're not an option right now, unfortunately. And so we're going to be talking about disposable products.
To watch the complete Care About a Clean Cape and Islands virtual summit, Can My Business Compost, visit careforthecapeandislands.org. For Cape Media News, I'm Gabrielle Rawson.
As you can see, there are still lots of ways to take care of Cape Cod. To view the entire Care for the Cape and Islands second virtual Care About a Clean Cape Summit, Can My Business Compost, visit careforthecapeandislands.org. Up next, the Osterville Farmers Market reopens for the season.
People in Massachusetts are asking what they can do to help stop the spread of the virus. Our response? Answer the call.
Hello? Thanks for calling. I've been worried.
Thanks. Now I know what to do.
Through what's called contact tracing, the MA COVID team will be reaching out to everyone who's tested positive for coronavirus or who has been exposed. Look out for area codes 833 or 857 and answer the call to keep your community safe. Visit mass.gov/MA Tracing Team.
Welcome back to Cape Media News. I'm Gabrielle Rawson. Well, summer is here, and so are the freshly grown fruits and vegetables. In Osterville, the Historical Museum has once again opened their farmers market for the season, but not without precautions. I met with Executive Director Jennifer Williams to learn about how they plan to keep patrons of the market safe. Cape Media News reports. Fresh fruit, vegetables, handcrafted popcorn, and hand-rolled pasta. These are just some of the things you'll find this summer at the Osterville Farmers Market.
We're here at the Osterville Historical Museum and celebrating opening day of the Farmers Market. And we have everything from pasta to marinara sauce, cheeses, olive oils, the best vegetables and fruits and plants and herbs and wicked good kettle corn, sort of everything under the sun.
The market is open every Friday from now until September 18th. But if you plan to visit, there are some rules.
We're encouraging people to come to the market with a list so they know what they're looking for. And we ask whenever possible for people to not bring their pets with them.
Visitors are required to wear masks, as are vendors, who are spaced far apart to allow for social distancing.
If you go on our Facebook page, Osterville Farmers Market, follow us on Facebook. We have the latest information on all the guidelines, specials, and pre-ordering from all of our vendors. That's also a fabulous thing to do, to pre-order in advance.
The Osterville Farmers Market is a seasoned tradition for locals and visitors alike.
I say this every year, and I think this year even more so, that my faith in humanity is returned when all of our vendors come back and the market opens. Today's our opening day, and across the board, all of our patrons, all of our visitors have been thanking us for having the market open.
To learn more about the Osterville Farmers Market, visit them at ostervillemuseum.org or find them on Facebook. In Osterville, for Cape Media News, I'm Gabrielle Rawson. The Osterville Farmers Market is located at the Osterville Historical Museum at 155 West Bay Road. To get your fresh fruits and veggies, you can visit them every Friday between now and September 18th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Well, that brings this episode of Cape Media News to a close. Please follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And thank you so much for watching. We'll be back very soon with a brand new episode. With Cape Media News, I'm Gabrielle Rawson.